You ever hear a faucet drip in the middle of the night? One little plink, then another. You tell yourself, it's just a drip, no big deal. But let that drip keep on dripping 24 hours a day, 31 days straight, and you'll have a water bill that'll make you spit out your coffee. That's what I want you to picture as we talk about clicks. Because clicks are drips. Tiny, harmless-looking drips that add up to a flood of wasted energy. I'm Rynd, and I bring you solutions in under 6 minutes every Monday here on the 1001 Business Problems Solved with Microsoft Teams podcast. I know you're going to find this super useful, so why don't you go ahead and click that big subscribe button on your podcast player app. Today, I'll probably go over 6 minutes, but I don't think you'll mind. I think this week's episode is worthy of a minute or two extra. So, back to the cost of a click. Some folks hear me start talking about clicks and teams and metadata and Copilot and think, oh, this is a tech podcast. That's just not true. If you don't see the business management angle in this episode and all our episodes, you're missing out on some golden opportunities. It's like that farmer who sold his land to go hunt diamonds in far-off places, not knowing his own soil was loaded with them. The next fella bought that farm and found the diamonds right under his boots. That's what we're doing here, finding the diamonds in your everyday work. Because the cost of a click isn't about technology. It's about leadership, efficiency, and protecting the most precious resource you've got, your team's attention and mental energy. Here's the thing, the cost of a click isn't time. It's decisions. Every click is a micro-decision. Where to aim, what to select, what comes next. And those decisions pile up like grains of sand until you're buried. We talk about fatigue like it's physical, lifting hay bales, running marathons, but decision fatigue is invisible. It's cognitive. It's the slow erosion of mental energy from thousands of tiny choices. Studies estimate adults make about 35,000 decisions a day, yes, 35,000. And office workers? They live in the land of micro-decisions, 2,000 to 3,000 conscious choices daily, plus an additional 1,500 to 7,000 mouse clicks, each one a choice of its own. Every click counts. Think about that. 35,000 decisions. That's one every 2 seconds you're awake. No wonder your brain feels like molasses by 3 p.m. I say molasses because we have a lot of Southern listeners, but here north of the Mason-Dixon, we think more in terms of maple syrup. Regardless, you don't want your employees' minds feeling like either. Decision fatigue is real. The prefrontal cortex, your command center for planning and self-control, burns glucose like a furnace. Every choice drains fuel. When the tank runs low, you default to easy options, unacceptable shortcuts, or no decision at all. Now, let me circle back to that farmer story. He thought wealth was somewhere else, some shiny new thing. So he sold his farm and chased diamonds across the world. Meanwhile, the next owner dug into the same soil and found a fortune. That's what happens when you ignore the management side of tech. You think the answer is another app, another shiny tool, or perhaps some high-dollar trainer. But the diamonds are in your processes, in how you manage clicks, decisions, and attention. That's where the real wealth is. Picture your day like a bucket under that faucet. Every click is a drip. 1 click? Harmless. 7,000 clicks? That bucket overflows. And it's not just physical, it's mental. Every click interrupts flow, fractures focus, and forces a choice. That's the real cost. It's why you feel wrung out after a day of simple tasks. It's not the big stuff that drains you, it's the tiny drips. So what do? We tighten the faucet. We stop the leaks. We consolidate. We structure. We use Teams as the hub, not as a side app that we only open for a remote meeting. We build metadata into our document libraries, so we filter instead of hunt and click. Because hunting is death by 1,000 clicks. Metadata is clarity. It's the difference between wandering a maze and following a map. But that's just one of the thousands of ways you can reduce clicks with Teams when you set it up strategically. You ease the mental burden of your employees when all your files, list items, conversations, meeting notes, apps, and more are logically arranged in your Teams site. Teams is an aggregation and switchboard monster. It eats clicks for breakfast if you set it up correctly for your employees. Oh, that reminds me. You'll want to tune in next week for sure, because I'll have a crazy good episode on just that topic, setting up teams for success and minimal clickage. I may just have the answer for you if your team's experience hasn't been the greatest so far. Back to the story. Reducing clicks isn't about speed, it's about preserving attention. Attention is the currency of creativity. Spend it on work that matters, not on deciding which folder hides your file. If you're a leader, this is your diamond mine. Every unnecessary click is churn. C-H-U-R-N. With a capital C. Every moment spent searching instead of creating is churn. And churn doesn't just waste time, it erodes morale. It makes work feel harder than it should be. Imagine a team where everyone spends 10 minutes a day searching for files. Multiply that by 20 people. Multiply that by 250 workdays. That's 833 hours lost to clicks. Hours that could have been spent innovating, strategizing, or simply breathing. This isn't about tech for tech's sake. It's about management. It's about designing systems that protect your people's mental energy. Because when their energy leaks away through micro-decisions, you pay the price in productivity, in creativity, and in retention. So here's my challenge. Audit your clicks. Count them. Then ask, what would it take to cut them in half? Maybe it's better tools. Maybe it's better habits. Maybe it's finally using Teams the way it was meant to be used. If you really want to do a good job identifying opportunities, go back and listen to last week's episode number 89 if you missed it. It's all about finding opportunities for teams. And if you're so busy taking care of your booming business and would rather have a Sherpa lead you right to your biggest improvement opportunities, head on over to countyquest.com and sign up for a free hour of consultation. That will be an hour spent pointing you in the right direction. Arnie will tell you how you can leverage Microsoft to eliminate those clicks, and he'll be there for you in the future if you get stuck. So tighten the faucet. Build systems that think for you. Because the future of work isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. And that starts with eliminating a single click. Let's get back together next Monday, and I'll fill you in on one of the 2 most important steps of Teams deployment. And here's a teaser, neither of those 2 steps involve training. This is Annie, signing off until next week. Have a great week.